Step back, this is my sound system. Step back, this is my sound system. Step back, this is my sound system. Step back.
Hello and welcome to haQ attaQ. My name is Jakob, I'm your host and you're watching a haQ attaQ episode. This is KORG Gadget and I'm kicking off another production trick series, and this time we're dealing with 8-bit dubstep. So if you're new to the haQ attaQ KORG Gadget production trick series, then I can just tell you that I've done two of these series before. One about post-dubstep, garage, and the other one about drum and bass. And what I do in these series is I've basically made a track inside KORG Gadget and then I just simply break it down and showing you what I've done to make everything sound as it does. Right, so with that explained, let's get down to business. And so in this first part, we're gonna have a look at the drum section. Now the first track is just a track I use for ducking the bass with bass drums. If you need an explanation on why I'm doing this or how I'm doing it, then I've got a great video for you called sidechain compression. I'll link to it at the end of this episode and you'll also be able to find a link down in the description. Right, so let's jump to something that actually makes a sound. And so this London drum gadget is producing the main beat for this track. Very simple, very straightforward. Hell, I can even make that in my sleep. Well, I really can't, but you know. Right, so let's have a look at the insert effect slot. And what I've done is that I've really worked on sculpturing the bass sound and the snare sound by using two equalizers at the same time. Now, you might be wondering, why am I not just doing the settings inside one equalizer? The thing is, this way I can alternate and listen to the individual equalizers and hear exactly what's going on with my sound. So I'm gonna properly A/B this for you. For the first play, I want you to concentrate on the bass drum. As you can hear, when I turn the equalizer on, I'm putting a bump in there, giving that bass drum some proper punch. This time, I want you to listen closely to the snare. Now the change is small, but you can hear the frequencies above the mid-range get more pronunciated, and that's because I want the snare to feel sharp and in your face. So let's head into the equalizer and let's check out what I actually did. So as you can see, I haven't touched the low or the high frequencies, but I have done something in the mid frequencies. I've turned down the Q point to 5.3 and I've set the frequency to 2420 Hz, and then I've upped it about 3.2 decibels. So I'm just slightly increasing that frequency range just to get that sharpness in there. So let's head back and go into the equalizer for the bass drum. We can see that I have done stuff both in the mid and the low range. And what I've done is that I've cut away the low frequencies. They don't need to be there because the bass in the project is supposed to fill up that space. So I don't want the bass drum and the bass synthesizers to fight with each other. So I've pulled down and set the frequency to 146 Hz and I pulled it down 15 decibels. That's quite a lot, but that's just to remove that very low end boominess. And then I've removed a bit in the mid frequency range. So I've pulled down the Q point to 6.2, so it's sharp, but it's not very sharp. And then I've set the frequency to 397 Hz, so it's still in the mid bass range. And then I pulled it down 7.8 decibels. And so this makes the bass drum really punchy. So that's all I can say about the main drum track. Now there is another gadget doing some minor stuff in the background. So let's have a look at that. Or should I say, let's have a listen to that. So as you can hear, it's just there to enhance the rhythm and the drum material floating around in the space there. Oh, I'm so bad at explaining this. So what I did was I tried to find a few sounds in their clean, unprocessed state, they sound very much different. So if we have a look at the insert effect slot, we can see that I've put 5 effects in here. So I've basically filled it up fully. So let me turn these off. As always, I usually put a compressor on it. Now, I didn't do that on the drums, but so far I haven't felt the need to contain the drums with a compressor. But I did with these drums. I really wanted them to be in check. Then I put an equalizer on it, and what I've done here is I've cut away a lot of the low end. So I've set the frequency in the low register to 543 Hz, and I've pulled it down 12.5 decibels. And then in the mid-range, I've enhanced it. Now, I usually don't do this. I usually try to cut away everything I don't want. My rule is cut away before you try to add. And if we look here, we can see that I've kept the cue point at its default 10.0. I've set the frequency to 2171 Hz, and I've upped it 5.1 decibels. And then in the high frequency range, I put the frequency at 9408 Hz and pulled it down 15 decibels. Now, I just want to add that you shouldn't focus too much on the actual number I'm giving you. You should focus on what you hear. Next, we have a delay, and there's not much to say about it. I mean, I could just show you these numbers really quickly, and if you really need it, then you could just pause the video and check it out. And then we have a reverb, same here, not much to say. I did cut a bit of the frequency in the lower register, well, lower mid register, for the audio going into the reverb. I don't want the reverb to be too boomy. And lastly, here is the effect that is making our sound so distorted. It's a decimator. And so I'm gonna play this and turn this on. And that's what I've done with the drums. In the next part, we're going to have a look at the bass section, where I'm using 3 different gadgets to build the bass for this track. Thank you very much for watching. All comments and ratings are very much appreciated. I've also got a Patreon page, so if you want to support creativity and good content, and if you find value in the content that I produce and you want to see more, why not join up on Patreon? As a Patreon, you get access to the haQ attaQ Vault, and it doesn't matter what level you're backing me on. The haQ attaQ Vault is a Dropbox folder accessible only to Patreons, and in there you'll find giveaways, all the music I've produced for the show during my 3.5 years producing the show for YouTube, all the live performances, they are all available as MP3s in that folder. You'll also find all the giveaways I've done, including presets. All patrons also get instant access to a playlist containing all of the Patreon exclusive videos that I've made, and also Patreon exclusive live streaming videos. Now, if you don't want to do Patreon, I've also got a PayPal me link, so you can do a one-off donation if you'd rather do that. If you don't want to do either Patreon or PayPal, then you can always share my videos, press the thumbs up under my videos if you think that my videos deserve it, and if you subscribe, then don't forget to click in that little bell thing that pops up right beside the subscription button, because that way you'll get notified whenever I make and upload new videos. As usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.